Morning, Elect Yachts, Raptor Freak. Monday morning, December 20th. Raptors were supposed to play the Magic tonight here in Toronto, but the Magic don't have players cleared in COVID protocols right now. So it's a postponement, and this will be the second one of the season for us. We had Chicago last week and now Orlando today, and it's too bad. It seems like the trend right now is more postponements in the NBA. They had like 5 or 6 of them announced yesterday, and it sucks because we want to play these games and get them out of the way, especially when we're starting to get healthy. And the Raptors team is looking like they're all going to be able to show up and play sometime in the near future. So it would really suck if there's some sort of like massive shutdown of any kind of sort for in life or in the NBA in general right now, because the Raptors are just about to get healthy and get rolling. I looked at the roster, MK47. Thanks for being here and asking the question. And I think it's only 6 players right now. I think that they got 6 players available right now. But this is a weird thing. I heard that they called up all these guys this weekend, like Admiral Schofield, and Freddie Gillespie got signed by the Magic yesterday. So he's on their team now all of a sudden. And, it seems like with the additions of the G League guys, they'd be able to do it. But I think that it's just kind of a timing thing or something. But the game's been postponed tonight for sure. But I will say this. It looks really good that we'll be able to play this Chicago game on Wednesday because the Bulls came back and played last night. Like, they came back from COVID protocols and they played against the Lakers in Chicago and they beat their asses. LeBron got beat by DeMar twice this year. They played him twice already, and the Bulls have beaten the Lakers both times they played him so far this year. And he was smiling so big after that game last night. I was so happy for DeMar because this is like all those years of Cleveland versus Toronto with LeBron and DeMar and what happened in the playoffs. Every time DeMar beats LeBron, it's a very happy day. So that was a good sign. This is a really good sign because I really feel like the NBA right now is like a plane that's going to crash, and they're pulling on the controls as hard as they can to pull it out of descent. It's like, you know what I'm talking about. I feel like that's what's going on with the league right now with health and safety protocols, and that they're just trying to, and it looks like we may be successful in some ways. Like, hopefully it can just keep going in the other direction. I think American Thanksgiving really screwed things up in all kinds of different ways and made this spike and this surge all of a sudden. So I think that's a big part of it. MK saying, I hope they give us the same treatment if we're in the same situation. Yeah, me too. I hope we do get the same kind of consideration also in different things. But, they've changed the G League rules all of a sudden yesterday, and they're really good in some ways. Like, they got rid of the two-way thing. Like, no, two ways don't matter anymore. Justin Champagny and David Johnson are not capped for how many games they can play on the main roster anymore for the Raptors, because that's something that is part of a two-way contract, is that you can only play on the main roster a certain amount of games. But they've gotten rid of that, and they've also expedited the rules for how G League players can be available for the main roster. So I think what's going to happen is, and this is really smart by the NBA, they're going to have G League teams and teams that kind of supplement players for teams. If this is a pandemic, it only makes sense to open the floodgates. Let the G League teams come and play as needed on the main roster according to COVID protocol loss of players. And I think that this is something that will help us keep this season going strong. And, there's guys on the G League that can come up for us in a heartbeat, like Reggie Perry, Noel, Tyree, Higgins. There's a lot of players down there also. And they're not the best players, of course, but they're at least in our system. They know our system, like the defense and the way we like to run things, because Mutombo down in the G League runs an exact same system as the main roster Raptors. So it's like they can be plugged in and play with what we already do up here. They're not going to be the same quality of player, of course, in different ways, but at least they're live bodies that count towards that 8 that you need a mandatory to play. So yeah, I hope this rule does kind of stick in some ways, partly because who knows what's going to happen with the pandemic as it evolves over the next couple of years. And that this just seems like a smart thing. I thought that this was something they would do sooner, actually, because it just makes sense. If the MLB has a farm system with triple A and double A and all this kind of stuff, and different places where they can bring players in their organization to different levels of competition. It should be the same kind of thing, a free flow with the NBA also. And I like this development. And the way this is actually really good for basketball players that aspire to get in the league, because this will allow more opportunity possibly for guys that had no chance to ever play in the NBA to possibly get some NBA experience. And, some of these guys may do really well and get a spot for good. So this is just good for in general. I think it's smart, and the NBA needed to do this. So unfortunately, Freddie Gillespie already got snatched up by the Orlando Magic yesterday. It's too bad, because I was hoping, but see, this is the thing. We're lucky in some ways compared to all these other rosters. They're having issues where they have to fill it in. And we don't have a lot of COVID protocol right now. We have 2 guys out with COVID protocol, Delano and Pascal, but it's not like 6 guys or 8 guys. So we have a full roster to field. So that's why we didn't go get Freddie. Like, if we had a couple guys go down and it was a bad thing, then maybe he would have been one of the first guys we tried to call up from the G League, just because of his familiarity with our system and playing with our guys last year. So it is what it is. It really sucks. I wanted to do a preview today for a game, and now I got to worry about tomorrow because there's not going to be a game for a reaction. So MK's asking, does every team in the league have a G League team? You know what? Not every team in the league does have a G League team. There are 2 teams in the league that don't have G League teams, and one of them is Portland. I know that. And these 2 teams that don't have teams are sharing a G League team. But the way the G League really kind of works is the whole pool is open to everybody. Like, people could come and steal our guys. Like, Reggie Perry could get put on another team and different things like that, because, the Bulls took Stanley Johnson from the Lakers G League team, and it's just kind of a free-for-all as players are needed. Like, Freddie Gillespie was on the Memphis G League team, and Orlando went and got him. So it's kind of like a free-for-all as needed. You go and collect the talent where you want it. And one of the cool things I learned this year about the G League that I had no idea about, and I got in an argument with a supposed a fan of the NBA argued with me this summer about whether the NBA could be in Mexico or not. And you know what? There is a Mexican G League team. There's a Mexico City G League team for the first year this year, and G League players go to Mexico City and play in Mexico, because this guy who was arguing with me was trying to say we could never have the NBA in Mexico because players would get kidnapped and ransomed by drug cartels and stupid shit like that. They don't realize, and this is part of the racism and the perspective of some people that don't go places and explore places in other places in the world, that Mexico City is a diverse, large city that has a large metropolitan center that has all kinds of varied areas. Yeah, sure, there's poorer parts of town, but there's also parts of town that have a lot of money. And Mexico City is in the G League. We do have a team in the league that is in Mexico. So, and one of our former Raptors was their first player ever to get called up from the G League into the NBA, and that was Alonzo McKinney. He got called up to the Bulls, in fact, and he was the leading scorer for Mexico City so far this year in the G League. And this is the first year that Mexico City's been in the G League. So it's pretty cool stuff. David Stern's dream of having Mexico involved in the NBA is slowly but surely kind of happening, because a G League team in Mexico City is just starting the pattern or the footpath to possibly lead to a regular kind of thing for them. And who knows, hopefully the G League team will stick and be a part of the league. I think they're like, I don't know which team they're the affiliate for. I think they're affiliate for one of the California teams, obviously. So let's see. Yeah, can anyone take from the G League Ignite? I think so. And CJ Miles got signed by G League Ignite this weekend. That's amazing. CJ Miles is still in the league. He's on the G League Ignite team. I think anybody can get signed from anywhere. I don't know if there's some rules in some places, or maybe if a player is a two-way player, they can't, because Justin and David Johnson obviously can't get signed somewhere else. Maybe if there's a rookie that was drafted by a team that's not on a two-way or something, but he's in the G League, maybe they're kind of dibs for that team still. But I don't know exactly how it works, but there is cross-team, like, able to get players and stuff like that. So the whole pool is open to everybody, I think. So it would be amazing and interesting if Mexico had a team. That's what David Stern wanted in the early 90s. when the Dream Team went to Barcelona, and we saw the appeal of the worldwide appeal of the NBA around the world with Magic and Larry and Michael over there. David Stern had a huge dream, and that part of that dream was coming here to Toronto and having these teams in Canada. Too bad Vancouver didn't stick. And the other one was Mexico. He did want something to do with Mexico within the NBA. And, slowly but surely, there's something happening there. Let's see. What about players that haven't been drafted yet? Yeah, I think that's a free-for-all for sure. Definitely. So, yeah, I'm guessing that, MK, you're looking at somebody on the Ignite that you have your eye on that is somebody that you may want to get on there. CJ Miles? I don't know. Amir was on that team last year, Amir Johnson. That would be a really weird, like, full circle kind of thing if Amir Johnson had to show up and help the Raptors out down low all of a sudden, right? These days, that'd be pretty crazy. But yeah, this is what's going on today. Postponement. They're changing the rules for the G League and how the G League players can come and go between the NBA and the G League. And, we're healthy. So we don't need to go get the G League guys and bring them up. But I like this in case, because we don't want this season to just completely stop. We want them to continue to try and play games, even if there's a few postponements here and there. Keep it going, and hopefully, in general, in the world, the rates of things that are happening right now will go down, and things will get better and easier. Like, I know this holiday travel season really feeds the fire of spreading the pandemic right now. And hopefully we can weather this, be that plane that pulls out of that descent and just kind of gets into 2022 with more healthy rosters, not many postponed games in the NBA, and overall in life and society, rates going down and infections going down all around in general. That's what we would hope for. Scott Henderson. Okay, MK, I'm going to look up Scott Henderson as soon as I get off here, and we'll see what that's saying. So tomorrow, because there's no game, I'm not going to be able to do a reaction. I had something happen again yesterday in the middle of the day. I got a call from my friend Ken again. Ken is the season ticket holder that helped me get to the Warriors game on Saturday. He's the guy who's offered me tickets at the last minute throughout the season. He's also the guy that sold me the $1,000 ticket to go to the NBA Finals Game 1 against Golden State. So he's a very good dear friend, and he messaged me yesterday, and he said, Lex, I have something for you if you want it. I'm going to throw it out if you don't. And I don't feel like it's worth throwing out. I think somebody would really like to have it. And basically what he's giving me is this bag. He's giving me this big CBC duffel bag full of stuff. I haven't opened it. I don't know what's in this bag at all. All I know is it is Raptors related. And we're going to do an unboxing tomorrow. That's right. Tomorrow on Raptor Freak live stream, I'm going to open this bag, and we're going to see exactly what kind of Raptor relics and artifacts are in this bag. I have no idea what's in this. He's a season ticket holder, so he gets a lot of extras and stuff like that. And this is stuff he's accumulated over the last like 10 years or so. So this bag is full. It's got some good weight on it. So tomorrow is going to be a fun unboxing. I see people on YouTube have fun opening presents and gifts and different things all the time. Let's do a Raptors unboxing tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow. I guess I'll do it probably around the regular time, sometime in the 9 o'clock hour Eastern time, for the Raptors mystery bag reveal. Yeah, because I know that some people really enjoy seeing people open stuff and react to it. And I don't know what's in there. And I'll be able to, because I have the context of historical perspective of the Raptors, I can probably detail where these Raptor artifacts are from in the history of the team and stuff like that. So this will be fun. You guys tune in tomorrow. We'll do an unbagging, and it'll help us forget about this stupid postponement today. But it's really looking good that we're going to be able to play Chicago on Wednesday. So that is really good because Chicago is healthy. DeMar came back and beat LeBron's ass, and that's awesome in itself. And hopefully we'll get to play the Bulls. And the great thing is our guys are getting healthy now, so it'll be a really fun game. Like, hopefully we can beat the Bulls this time. Because, and we owe them a game still. We should have played them last week. So, I don't know. Could the NBA do some cool thing where they make up the postponement game by playing 2 games in Chicago 2 days in a row, and then we don't have to travel as much? And then the last game we play against them is actually in Toronto, I think. Yeah. It's supposed to be in Chicago, so they just flip them. play 2 games in Chicago, and then the last game we're supposed to play against Chicago in Chicago later on is switched to Toronto instead. I don't know how they can make it work. I was trying to problem solve it myself. It's like, if we missed a game last week, why don't we play them twice in a row in Chicago? Lessen the travel, lessen the risk, get that game made up. And then the game that was supposed to be, I know that part of it may have to do with the Leafs and the hockey schedule and who has the building on certain nights and stuff like that. That's part of the mess of figuring out postponed games, is figuring out what's going on with facilities, with other sports, concerts, whatever. I know there's not many concerts or stuff like that going on. So, okay, so it's Scoot Henderson. I'm going to look him up. All right, y'all. Let's go Raptors. We can't beat the Magic tonight, unfortunately. It's too bad, but we'll get our chance to play them again soon, I'm sure. And Chicago, let's keep our fingers crossed. Nothing changes. Things don't take a turn for being the worst. I know this sucks, Andrew. This sucks so bad. But at least DeMar and them showed up last night. They beat the Lakers and LeBron and had a great game, and that means we're probably going to get to play them on Wednesday. So it may be these little periods of time where teams are out of business for like a week because of COVID protocols, but then they come back and they're cleared, and then they're ready to play again. That's what I'm hoping, because we don't want a full shutdown. We want them to continue to be able to play games, even if there's some postponements here and there as we go. So no Orlando tonight, unfortunately. They didn't, I don't understand. If they've got enough of their G League guys, why don't we do it? They got Admiral Schofield, they got Freddie Gillespie now. So why don't we play Orlando? Come on up here. I mean, I don't know. It may be that they just want to make sure for sure, and they're saying, okay, we're going to postpone just to make sure. I don't know. But anyway, Andrew, let's go Raptors Nation. Yeah, baby. Tomorrow, as I said, a mystery bag revealed. That's what we're doing tomorrow. We're going to open this bag. I don't know what's in it. My friend Ken, who's the season ticket holder that sold me the tickets to the Golden State game on Saturday, gave me this bag yesterday, and it's just full of Raptor stuff. I don't know what's in it, though. So we'll open it up tomorrow. That's going to be the fun tomorrow. So tune in the live stream tomorrow around 9 o'clock, and you get to watch. I know it's fun. Unboxings are fun. I've seen other people do it. So we're going to do a Raptor Freak unboxing, a Christmas Raptor Freak unboxing. Yes. All right, guys. Oh, click 2 a.m. The NBA is not suspending the season. They're allowing max games for G League players. Yeah, I was talking about that earlier. This is great for Champagny and David Johnson, and it's also great for guys like Tyree and Higgins and Noel and Perry, because these guys will get more of a chance to possibly get up on the NBA level and maybe even stick. Yeah. Let's see. Click 2 a.m. But honestly, I don't care about COVID anymore. Accept and live with it, or live in panic and fear. Which one do you want? Time is ticking. Yeah. I mean, this is tough. Everybody's got a different situation in their life. And I don't besmirch somebody who has that kind of attitude, just as long as you're taking kind of general precautions in general for everybody to look out for people, because everybody has a different situation. It may be that people have to work and do different things that they don't really want to do, but they have to. And it may be that some people have to be super extra careful because of loved ones that are around them in their lives. Like, the whole reason why I'm not going on my trip tomorrow is because I have a very close loved one that has been in the hospital in the last couple months, and I couldn't, and their weekend, and I cannot go there and get somebody possibly sick just in case, because if I did that happen, that would be awful, and I would never forgive myself. So I don't want to take the risk, especially with so many people going into the airport this week and people traveling back and forth. And just, to me, the NBA is a canary in the coal mine. Like, if I want to see how things are going with COVID, I just look and see how the NBA is being extra special protective. And if there's stuff going on there and it's kind of going up a little bit, then I'm like, okay, this is where I need to be a little more careful in my own life. But I totally respect your sentiment, Click 2 a.m. And I don't think that you're wrong in some ways. That in some ways people have to make their own personal choice on everything. And if you want to go on that freedom route and do that, that's fine. I look at freedom in a whole kind of different levels of different kinds of ways. Because I want to keep my freedom and health. So I'm going to be careful. So it's like, it's a weird thing. It's a weird time. And honestly, I don't come down on anybody for any of their decisions. I know I make fun of Kyrie for not getting vaxxed and stuff like that. But, if somebody doesn't want to get vaxxed for religious purposes or some other reason, I respect that. I'm not somebody who's saying everybody's got to get vaxxed, everybody's got to do that. But I think that the more people do what the health officials are saying, then the better off we are. And I really like the attitude that the NBA is going to try not to shut down, because they really shouldn't. It's kind of like, let's keep living, let's keep going. And like I was saying earlier, the NBA has a G League. It has a farm system. The MLB is so quick to bring players back and forth between them. Why can't the NBA be more like that? They have too many rules constricting how many players can come and go. But in these unprecedented times, open the floodgates. Let the guys come and go as they need to, so we don't miss games and stuff like that. So it is what it's like. Yeah, I don't think we can. I don't think it's as bad as it was in the beginning when we didn't really understand it, and there were a lot of deaths that were like shocking, and a lot of things are happening because we had the vaccine. Now it's a little bit easier to deal with. The cases aren't as bad, and honestly, we live in Toronto. If you live in Toronto, we have a lot of high vaccination rates, so we have better outcomes and different things going on with the pandemic than say places like parts of the U.S. that are really bad, because there's a lot of people that aren't doing the right kind of things. And the spread is really bad still in those places. And that's part of the reason why I didn't go to Georgia also, is because the people in general in some places just aren't regarding some things. So you take the precautions, you figure out every little detail in your life and what is important to you. For me, I've been super extra safe staying home, but my one guilty pleasure is to go to the Raptor games. Like, I will go to the Raptor games, but that's the only time I will ever be around a lot of people right now, because I'm just trying to limit it, and I take my risk in what I really love. And that's what I do. That's when I'll go, and stuff like that. So let's see. Yeah, no game, Darren, unfortunately. But I will say once again, guys, tomorrow, no reaction. But my friend Ken, the season ticket holder who sells me tickets, he's given me a mystery bag full of Raptor artifacts. Tomorrow, I'm going to open this baby up. I have no idea what's in it, and we'll go through it and look at it and see what's up. So at least there's something to look forward to, guys. The Raptor Freak mystery bag unveiling. So yeah, hopefully we continue to not have COVID protocol problems with this team. Hopefully Pascal and Delano are both false positives, or they're just somebody who was around them, and that they're not anywhere near COVID or have any kind of tests that say that they have COVID. It's just they're out for precautionary reasons, and that they could even be back in the next couple of days. That's why these COVID protocol out games, they may only last like 1 or 2 days. They may not be like super long, like 10 days or something like that. Like, I think DeMar was like 10 days or something like that, but I think he actually did have COVID. So that's the varying degrees of it, is how close were you to it? And then maybe that's how long you have to sit. Like, Precious wasn't out that long. Precious was out, how many, 4 or 5 days last week. But that was all precaution, just because he was around somebody who is known to be positive. So it could be like that with Delano and Pascal. I don't think either one of them have COVID right now. Darren's saying he's waiting to go back to Canada to get his booster. Oh, Darren, okay, but you're going to Winnipeg. I remember, yeah. In Canada, we follow the rules, so don't punish us by shutting down. People might go crazy. Yeah. I mean, we are doing a good job in the city. I was riding in a cab last night with a cabbie from Egypt, and he was telling me about all the people in Egypt that are dying of COVID. And we don't talk about a lot of countries in this world that are having huge deaths from COVID. We just focus on our countries and Europe and stuff like that. But there's a lot of other countries in this world that are hurting from COVID, and we're very lucky. And one of the things that we do really well with in Toronto in particular is because we're so multicultural, and we have the whole entire world, citizens from all around the world here. We're basically like the closest thing to Star Trek on the world. And everybody here is diverse, and they work together. They believe in helping each other and working together. And that's why we're doing so well in this city, as a big city in the world, is because people care about each other, and they're getting vaccinated for each other, because we want to keep things going. And that's why we have good numbers for the most part. With the surge that's going on, we could have a lot more deaths and a lot more hospitalizations right now. And they're pretty good for our population size right now. So I hope you weren't in any floods, Darren. More rest for our team. Apparently, Pascal had a negative test. Okay, this is good news. Anything negative today's is good with this stuff. Click 2am. Did you see David Fizdale complaining about having players and coaches out last night versus the Bulls, as if we didn't have 6 players and 6 coaches out last season? Yeah. everybody, like, I don't know if we're the trendsetter for that. Like, there were other teams last year that got hit pretty hard at certain points. Like Memphis got hit really hard at the beginning of last season, and they missed like 12 games. They had like 12 postponements in the fall of last year. So it's not until it affects the team that they don't realize what the hell's going on with this and stuff like that. So it's a really up and down thing. Like places like Florida. Oh yeah, I grew up in Florida. I know that people down there don't give a fuck. I have friends that I went to high school with. I have one friend, he's so crazy. He's trying to collect the variants of COVID like Pokemon. Like he's like, oh, I got Delta. Yeah, it was kind of tough, but he's out there trying to get Omicron right now, and he's like, he wants to collect them because in his mind, he's like, he's a herd mentality kind of guy. He's like, I'm gonna take it. My body will be strong, and I'll be stronger for it, and stuff like that. But as I said the other day, this is really risky because you don't know what kind of underlying health issues these kind of things can like trigger. And then all of a sudden you have other kind of issues long term that you didn't realize you were going to get because the virus came in and mutated, or it messed up something you already had, kind of like a little bit like susceptible to going awry. And I don't want, he's crazy. Honestly, the guy I'm talking about is certifiably insane. He's been put in the place a couple times with the yeah. So that's not who you want to take as a role model in the pandemic. But this is a true Florida man. This is a true Florida man, and he's bragging to me on the phone. He's like, I got Delta, it ain't shit. He's saying all this stuff like that. And he's like, I'm going to get Omicron next. I'm like, you crazy motherfucker. You crazy motherfucker. That's just how they do it. I mean, some people are like that in Florida. They just don't want to believe. And, some people are so far in the cult of Trump and QAnon that they're so brainwashed and messed up. They don't know who to believe anymore. And they're believing stuff that's actually hurting them. And it's so crazy because that side of politics is going to lose so many voters just because of this. Like in the long term, there's going to be less of these voters because they died. So it's like, oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's just how it is. This is Darwinism at work. This is the big game of Darwinism. This last 2 years is a huge game of Darwinism. All right, let's see. I'm going to keep going. If you guys keep writing stuff, I'll keep talking for right now. Darren, only restrictions should be on fans. If people are vaxxed, should be okay. Biggest issue, being fat or other comorbidity. Wow, I haven't heard comorbidity since grad school, studying like mortality and fertility and demography and that kind of stuff. That's what I studied in grad school, was sociology stuff. And I haven't heard that word in a bit. There's a lot of people at risk, in different ways, and they may not even realize they're at risk in some ways. Also, let's see what Darren's saying. Indonesia, lower COVID rate than Canada. We only have 40% double vaxxed. Wow. I have a friend who's living in Thailand, and she's just getting her booster this week and stuff like that. And she's been really keeping me up to date in that part of the world's kind of like dealings with like the vaccines and how they're getting them and the regulations even there and stuff like that. To me, it's amazing to see how different cultures and countries deal with this pandemic and deal with it. Like you think about some of the Islamic countries, and Iran is one of the 4 fighters in vaccine technology. Their scientists are working really hard to come up with vaccines. And Iran is one of the top countries in the world at getting this kind of science out there and getting discoveries. So, it's an all and for one kind of thing. And the more we think about this between nations and between continents and countries in this world, the faster we'll fix this shit. So we got to stop being selfish and just worrying about our own country and our own people. We need vaccine equality around the world. If there's vaccines sitting in the States and Canada, just sitting in a freezer warehouse that ain't going nowhere, they need to go somewhere, because they ain't helping nobody, and we don't need to be hoarding none of this stuff. We need to send it to the places that are in the most risk, and then these variants can stop happening, because we need to get overall. This is how you beat polio. This is how you beat rubella, chicken pox, measles, all this stuff. It's the same game plan. This is the same stuff, coach. Put that game plan in the game and do it, and it'll work. It'll beat this in the long term. That because we have the history and we know that this is how it works. That's the one thing that all these people that are skeptical don't realize. This ain't our first rodeo as humankind. We have to deal with pandemics every so often throughout the history of mankind. And it's just that we've gotten better at dealing with them. And that's why we have a vaccine already, because people forecasted this kind of shit possibly happening. And they were doing the research to make the vaccine decades before this. They had the delivery system. They had all the different kind of stuff that just they needed the code of the thing that they're trying to vaccinate against. And then when they put that into their regular system already, that's how they get the vaccine so quick. So that, that's part of it. Some people don't understand that. I don't think any of y'all do. You guys are all smart and you are intelligent and stuff like that. I'm just going over it. I'm talking on my ass. All right, let's see. I stopped watching the news altogether. They show numbers with zero context. Yeah, the news is unhealthy for anyone. The best way to get your news is just go online and read stuff. Go online and read it in your own head with your own cadence and your own inflection, because half of the shit that they say to us is they sell it to us in a way that's sensationalized and triggering. They want to trigger us because that's part of how they get ratings. They draw people in with horror. They want people to keep having to watch because they're so worried. But it's one thing is better if you go and look at the information, read the news and stuff like that in your own head, in your own voice. Don't listen to them. Because in some ways, there's actually subliminals in some of the stuff that they say in some of their scripts and stuff like that to key you off, to get you tensed up and do things like that. So I turned off the cable cord a long time ago. I only watch all my content on YouTube, just like how I'm here and you guys are here with me right now. And I get all my news from Facebook and YouTube and talking to other people. And I have reputable sources. I know that I'm hearing the right stuff. So, and I'm not getting all that filter and all that noise of propaganda to make me upset and worried about everything. It's like, that's really huge part of the problem. Okay, let me see. I think weather's a factor. Yeah. You guys are talking about 28 million people vaxxed every day in Jakarta and Indonesia. Click. I stopped watching the news altogether. Obesity is a bigger issue in Canada and US. It is in some places in Canada, but not in Toronto. People are fit here. We walk all over the place. Let's see. Rich country equals fat people. Yeah, there's a lot of that. Spanish flu, the last variant and fourth wave was highly transmissible and mutated out. Let's hope it's the same trajectory. Yeah. If that's a similar thing happens with the Spanish flu that happens with this, it went away at a certain point. And what was that? It was in some point in the 20s. So this is like 100 years ago. It's the same kind of shit happened 100 years ago, and we had to weather it out. But back then we didn't have the internet. We didn't have anything. You had to send a telegram to go talk to people and stuff like that. So it was like, this is a much better age for us to deal with this kind of stuff. There's much less deaths. And, this could have been way worse if we weren't living in the technological world where we could all communicate in a fast way and get, information around quickly in a safe way. If people had to walk messages back and forth stuff, that's transmitting. And we should feel really fortunate that we're in a technological age where this is not like that. So, click 2 a.m. It just sucks, bro. I'm 19 right now and haven't done shit. I tell you, after this pandemic, the youth that don't get to party are going to be all types of shit when they're older, crack babies. I do feel bad for the young people. Like my niece and nephew, they're like 10 and they're very young. And this is a very changed world in some ways. Like all the people that were in university or in high school that were going to graduate the year the pandemic hit, I feel so bad for them. That were seniors in March of 2020 when this shit happened, then they didn't do their prom, they didn't get to do any of that kind of stuff. I feel really bad for people like that, and it is a weird time and a weird thing. And what you're talking about, part of it has been acted out and happens in NBA in live events right now. Like people are going to live events and they're all cooped up from being inside and stuff like that. So they act out. And that's been like people running on the court in the NBA, touching the basket. In wrestling, wrestlers have been getting attacked and people are coming into the stage, like on the ring more often because people have been so pent up and they're crazy right now. And I really hope that there isn't some sort of weird, because there is going to be a weird mental health side effect because of this pandemic that'll have a wide wash over a lot of people in this world. And hopefully we can manage it and understand it and help people instead of just falling into delusional craziness. It's like, oh my gosh, click. At least returning to school was a plus. Finally got to see so many friends that I hadn't seen in a while. Man, I can't understand this at your age, man. I feel so bad for you in some ways. But you know what? This is a thing. Whenever there's adversity and these kind of things happening, there's opportunity too. So you need to maybe think about in life a way that you can game this and make this an advantage for you in some way. Because there's always an opportunity and there's some positive, even in the darkest negative. And that's where entrepreneurship and people become very successful when they're able to see that kind of situation and act on it and make an opportunity out of it quickly. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens in the next couple of years, Click. It could be that your generation is a very interesting generation for getting some of the progress that we need in this world, whether it's with climate change, whether it's with, equality and different issues that are really a problem in this world right now. So I believe in the young people. I believe in y'all way more than my generation and the generations before me. Because honestly, my generation, we're pretty lazy and we had a lot just handed to us and a lot of good things happened to us. And we've had it really good. And it seems like now things are starting to go a little bit. And I feel bad for the younger people. And I know the whole system and the way things are set up right now is unsustainable. And things are going to get messed up somewhere, somehow, some way. And we got to look out for this. We're getting way into politics and all kinds of stuff right now. It's crazy. Okay, let's keep going here. There's nothing like walking in the snow. I swear you burn extra calories. Yeah, you get calories burned here, going up and down the stair steps at TTC, running all over the city. Is this a walking city? And people in Toronto don't get fat. Like if you live in Toronto and you're fat, you're riding around somehow on a hovercraft or something like that. You're riding in one of those little Tom Cruise like hover rounds or something like that. That's what you're seeing. Click. Oh, that's great. I'm glad you got your prom and the year before and stuff like that. Yeah, it's just a weird time. These rites of passages for young people are getting screwed up by stupid shit. MK's asking me if I've seen Spider-Man. No, I have not seen Spider-Man. I don't normally go to a lot of movies. I end up seeing them when they get on Netflix years later. But I've heard tons of good things about this new Spider-Man. Like everybody that's friends with me that's gone and seen it has said it's really good. And that compared to a lot of the Spider-Man movies, that's says a lot because there's been so many. And I mean, how many times have they restarted Spider-Man over and over again? So I like to hear that there's a good, true to the story kind of Spider-Man movie out right now, and people are liking it. More Scotty love. Okay, Darren, let's see. Media seems to taking deep look at him. Yeah. I think this Scotty is a darling in the NBA. He honestly is somebody that they can market really well, and that's part of the reason why they're going to try and lure him out of our team. It sucks because I really hope he just stays here and they let him be the Canadian superstar for us and be like Captain Canada because he has marketing potential all over him. He is like a Magic Johnson, definitely, not only on the court with his passing, but with his personality and just his magnetism. So it's tough because like we got the all around the best rookie in the last 10 years. I'm going to say he's the best rookie 5 years before him and 5 years after him. I don't know who's coming after him, but I think that Scotty is the best rookie out of the last 10 years. I'm going to make that bet right now because I believe in him that much that he's going to develop into something really huge and special as a superstar in this league. Click 2 a.m. I've been working a lot throughout the pandemic, made a lot of money, started investing in stocks, and been taking care of my physical and mental health. Yeah. Who knows? If this pandemic hadn't happened, you may not have been so disciplined. You may not have made some of these changes in your health and things like that. And you may not have focused. You may have had more distractions. You may have been more like a normal teenager and been like crazy and like partying more often and stuff like that. So, you got to look at the silver lining and the blessings and all kinds of things that like things affect us in our lives and we make choices because of it. And sometimes these choices are much better, even though we didn't realize it at the time. That you may have grown in maturity because of this pandemic, much like Fred VanVleet is a mature young man at like your age. Also, he was probably very mature at that age, 19. Let's see. Yeah, good job, Click. Mental health is huge. I had my battles with anxiety, and the lessons I learned definitely helped me through the pandemic. Yeah, you know what? Listen, man, mental health, depression, anxiety, these are all things I battle. I battle suicidal thoughts. I battle all kinds of stuff. I'm an alcoholic. I drank for 20 years, and I have gone to the bottomless barrel of the soul can go. I have had that endless night of the soul where you don't see the end, and you don't know why to go on. But I've had a lot of help, people that care about me, a good support system, and there's nothing wrong with talking about this. This is something that everybody goes through at a certain point in their life in different levels. So, I'm glad that people like Damar and Kevin Love talked about it and made it more open and out there and okay to talk about, because these are issues that everybody deals with, and especially right now. Oh my gosh, especially right now. Yeah, fuck snow, move to the Ecuador. No, move to the equator. Yeah. uh Perpetual summer. Well, I lived in Tallahassee. I mean, it's pretty summery around about 10 months around the year there. So let's see. Dame was rookie of the year. Okay, we're talking about, I'm not sure what that means. Yeah, haven't hit the clubs once and I don't care about it, waste of money. Man, listen, if you can skip the whole messing up your life with the alcohol part, just skip it. Because honestly, it wasted 20 years of my life. I started drinking at 15 and I didn't quit till 35. And I didn't really start living or feeling good about myself until then. And now I'm 11 years later, 11 years sober, and life is getting better and better. It's a really big, it's a tough thing. Alcohol can be a lot of fun and it can be something really important to some people, but it can be really damaging and awful for some people too. And it really is a case by case basis. I don't tell people don't drink alcohol. I don't tell people alcohol is evil and all this kind of stuff. It's been evil to me, but everybody's different. Some people can drink and get away with it. I could not. So it is what it is. And I have a lot of marijuana. That's my key. Yes, the hoodies will be planned. All right, guys. All right, I went way over. I thought, all right, remember, tomorrow, I'm opening this bad boy. I have no idea what's in this CBC bag. It's full of Raptor stuff. I know that. My friend Ken, the season ticket holder, gave it to me yesterday, and it's just got stuff that he's collected over the years as a season ticket holder for the Raptors. So it could be all kinds of crazy memorabilia, stuff like that. So I'm excited about opening this, and I have a feeling I'll be having some more of these kind of shirts that they give out to all the games. I may have like 50 shirts that are given at the games, and I'm excited to go through them and look at them and try and remember which games they were for. And I think there's other kinds of stuff in there too. Like I think there may be some programs and different things like that in there some also. So guys, I appreciate y'all being here with me on a day where we postponed the game, and we're just talking real talk today, man. We're talking about the pandemic, we're talking about mental health, we're talking about a lot of important issues in the world today, and that's what this is all about. Because the Raptor Freak, the cult of Raptor Freak, is a cult of culture, and we are a global unit, and we are talking about big issues about life, not just the Raptors, because the Raptors are a part of life and the big metaphor of things, but that's a part of it too. So, all right, guys, you guys, have fun, celebrate, do what you got to do. But I worry about some of my friends, because they're at home and they're sitting by themselves, isolating, and they're just drinking their faces off. And that's bad. You don't want to be drinking alone at home every day during the pandemic. And I know a lot of people are doing that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, guys. Thank you. Let's go, Raptors. Thank you, Darren, Click, G, MK47, Sue, Paul, everybody, every day who shows up and just comes and chats with me for a little bit. We're a community. And honestly, this has supplemented my social activity because I can't go out and be around all my friends and do stuff like I used to. So you guys are my new social group and social friends. So I'm happy to have you guys and we're going to get these hoodies together. Promise me. One of the first things I'm going to do is try and design the decal in some sort of way that's very interesting and attractive to people that not only are Raptor fans, but just people in general. They're like, oh, that's cool. What is that? Anyway, all right, guys, tomorrow, the unbagging. The Raptors unbagging. So come for the reveal. It'll be sometime around 9 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow. All right, guys. All the best. Have a great Monday. This week started. And hopefully, if you're traveling, travel safe. And everybody's safe and healthy and okay for Christmas and the rest of the holidays. All right, guys. All the best. Let's go.